Vitamin D is complicated, though. Here's the problem. If you look at the literature, vitamin D deficiency is associated with all of these chronic metabolic diseases. However, supplementation with vitamin D has not fixed any of those.
Did you know that 93% of Americans have at least one marker of metabolic dysfunction? That means only 7% of the population is considered metabolically healthy. Dr. Robert Lustig, a pediatric endocrinologist at UCSF and author of the best-selling book Metabolical, has spent decades studying why so many people feel tired, sluggish, and unable to lose weight. And according to him, the answer comes down to one thing: mitochondria. Those tiny powerhouses inside every cell that turn food into energy. When they stop working properly, everything falls apart. Energy crashes, weight piles on, and chronic disease follows. But here's where it gets interesting. Dr. Lustig has identified specific vitamins and nutrients that can support mitochondrial function and help restore metabolic health. In this video, we will count down the top 8 vitamins Dr. Lustig recommends for energy and vitality, starting with number 8. Number 8, vitamin C. Most people think of vitamin C as the immune booster they reach for during cold season, but Dr. Lustig actually takes vitamin C daily, and the reason might surprise you. Beyond fighting off colds, vitamin C plays a critical role in energy production. It serves as a cofactor for the enzymes that synthesize carnitine, a molecule essential for transporting fatty acids into the mitochondria where they get burned for fuel. Research on guinea pigs with vitamin C deficiency showed a 40% reduction in muscle carnitine levels. That helps explain why fatigue is one of the earliest symptoms of scurvy. A 2011 randomized control trial published in Advances in Pharmacological Sciences found that type 2 diabetic patients who took vitamin C alongside their medication showed significant improvements in fasting blood sugar and HbA1c compared to those on medication alone. For better results, studies suggest doses of 1,000 milligrams or more daily for at least 12 weeks. Number 7, vitamin B12. Dr. Lustig specifically recommends B12 supplementation for anyone following a plant-based diet, but the benefits extend beyond vegans. B12 is essential for methylation, one of the 8 subcellular pathways Dr. Lustig identifies as critical for metabolic health. Without adequate B12, the body cannot properly process homocysteine, an amino acid that, when elevated, increases inflammation and cardiovascular risk. Studies have found that low B12 levels correlate with insulin resistance, independent of other factors. The challenge is that B12 absorption decreases with age, and common medications like metformin can deplete it further. For those over 50 or taking diabetes medications, experts recommend 500 to 2,000 micrograms daily. Number 6, thiamine, also known as vitamin B1. This vitamin deserves far more attention than it gets. Thiamine is a gatekeeper between sugar breakdown and energy production. In its active form, it serves as an essential cofactor for the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, the enzyme that converts glucose into fuel the mitochondria can actually use. Without enough thiamine, sugar piles up and converts to lactic acid instead of ATP. Here's a startling statistic. 26% of diabetic patients have low thiamine levels compared to just 7.7% of non-diabetics. And among obese individuals, thiamine deficiency rates range from 15 to 29%. A 2011 double-blind crossover study found that 300 milligrams of thiamine daily for 6 weeks significantly decreased blood sugar levels in hyperglycemic subjects. The connection makes sense. High-carbohydrate diets increase thiamine requirements because more sugar entering the system demands more of this vitamin to process it. Number 5, zinc. The pancreas contains one of the highest zinc concentrations in the entire body, and for good reason. 2 zinc ions are required to bind 6 insulin molecules together into the stable hexamers that form mature insulin crystals. Without adequate zinc, insulin production and storage become impaired. But zinc does more than help make insulin. It actually mimics insulin's effect at the cellular level. The ZIP7 transporter releases zinc from cellular storage, triggering the same signaling cascade that moves glucose from the bloodstream into cells. A 2024 umbrella meta-analysis found that zinc supplementation in diabetic patients significantly reduced fasting blood sugar by nearly 14 points, improved insulin resistance markers, and lowered HbA1c. Interestingly, the research shows that lower doses of 20 to 30 milligrams daily for 12 weeks or longer work better than high-dose, short-term supplementation. Number 4. Magnesium. Over 90% of cellular ATP, the energy currency of life, exists bound to magnesium. ATP literally cannot function without it. Magnesium is required for more than 300 enzymes involved in energy production, including every enzyme in the citric acid cycle. Computational modeling has identified mitochondrial magnesium as the single most important regulating factor for cellular energy production. The clinical evidence is equally impressive. A pooled analysis of 24 randomized controlled trials found that magnesium supplementation in type 2 diabetics improved blood sugar control, lipid levels, and blood pressure. A 2025 meta-analysis of nearly 96,000 participants found that high magnesium intake was associated with 31% lower odds of developing metabolic syndrome. Perhaps most remarkably, magnesium improves insulin sensitivity, even in people with normal blood magnesium levels, suggesting benefits that extend beyond simple deficiency correction. The optimal dose appears to be around 300 milligrams daily for at least 4 months. Number 3. Fiber. Now, fiber technically isn't a vitamin, but Dr. Lustig considers it so foundational to metabolic health that he co-founded a fiber supplement company. His reasoning centers on what he calls the gut-liver axis. On his website, Dr. Lustig explains that dietary fiber comes in 2 forms, soluble and insoluble. Together, they form a barrier inside the small intestine that slows sugar absorption, reducing the load of fructose hitting the liver. This matters because Dr. Lustig identifies liver fat as the primary driver of insulin resistance. By feeding beneficial gut bacteria, fiber also generates short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation throughout the body. Dr. Lustig warns that when the microbiome is starved of fiber, bacteria starts feeding on the gut's protective mucus layer instead, compromising intestinal health. He recommends getting fiber from whole foods whenever possible, but emphasizes that any fiber supplementation should include both soluble and insoluble types. Number 2. Vitamin D. Dr. Lustig takes vitamin D daily, but his recommendation comes with an important caveat. On the Levels Health podcast, he explained that vitamin D suppresses toll-like receptors that keep inflammation in check. The problem is that chronic inflammation actually blocks the body from converting inactive vitamin D into its active form. This explains why so many vitamin D supplementation trials show disappointing results. People take the supplement, but their bodies cannot use it because underlying inflammation gets in the way. When inflammation is addressed first, the evidence becomes compelling. A meta-analysis of 43 studies with nearly 300,000 participants found that each increase of 25 nanomoles per liter in blood vitamin D levels was associated with 15% lower odds of metabolic syndrome. A 2023 umbrella meta-analysis showed vitamin D supplementation significantly decreased fasting blood sugar, HbA1c, insulin levels, and insulin resistance markers. The key is addressing diet and inflammation alongside supplementation. Standard doses range from 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily. Number 1. Omega-3 fatty acids. Of all supplements, omega-3s receive Dr. Lustig's strongest endorsement. He personally takes 1 gram of EPA daily and has called omega-3s a prime directive to metabolic health. The reason involves mitochondrial structure. Mitochondrial membranes are made of omega-3 fats, and when dietary omega-3s are insufficient, those membranes become dysfunctional. 12 weeks of fish oil supplementation increases mitochondrial EPA content by approximately 450% and DHA by 320%. A 2020 meta-analysis of 22 randomized controlled trials found omega-3 supplementation significantly reduced liver fat, lowered triglycerides by nearly 29 points, and improved cholesterol levels in patients with fatty liver disease. But Dr. Lustig issues a specific warning about sourcing. As he explained on the Huberman Lab podcast, salmon do not actually make omega-3s. Algae make omega-3s, salmon eat the algae, and humans eat the salmon. Farmed salmon eat corn instead of algae, producing fish dominated by inflammatory omega-6 fat rather than beneficial omega-3s. Dr. Lustig says that eating farmed salmon provides about as much omega-3 benefit as eating steak. Wild-caught fatty fish, or a quality fish oil supplement providing 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily, remains the gold standard. And that brings us to the most important point Dr. Lustig makes about all supplementation. In a 2019 post on social media, he wrote that supplements, even omega-3s, cannot undo the damage of a bad diet. The diseases of metabolic syndrome are not due to deficiency, they are due to mitochondrial overload. The solution starts with removing processed foods and added sugars. Supplements can support that foundation, but they cannot replace it. What vitamin from this list surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments below, and if evidence-based supplement and metabolic health content sounds useful, hit subscribe. More videos like this are coming. See you next time, stay cool and limitless.